We have a Moldy microwave Freakshow unfolding in the garage. There's a couple things I really don't like to touch. Mold is one of them, particularly fuzzy mold, bugs, insulation, things of that nature. So we're dealing with fuzzy mold, and I need to find where all the cleaners are dwelling, because we got to clean this up. To give some context on the situation, the microwave was obtained from the trash, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, somewhere in that range. It was in the same pile of stuff as those telephones from the law office. There was an AT&T cordless telephone. There was those Duo phone, cassette answering machines. I think there was a newer AT&T telephone. Where in the world are those cleaners? So there was just a bunch of stuff there, and the microwave was in the mix. So I took the microwave, and it was filthy, you know, covered in mold. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I misspoke. It wasn't covered in mold. It's covered in cooking grease and, you know, who knows what else. Various kinds of food. That's not gonna work. That's toilet cleaner. Where then is what I'm looking for? Well, we can use some of this. Talks about that funny Corona stuff on here. So the microwave was covered in mold. I mean, it is now. I have zero capacity to do more than one thing at a time. Here's the cleaners. Well, these aren't exactly the cleaners I was looking for, but let's see which one of these is stronger. I usually use this one with the ammonia D in it, but I don't think that this one is in partnership with Plastic Bank. Not really sure what that is, but we'll go with this one, because seems like it could be a little bit stronger. Anyway, so back to the microwave. When I got it, it was filthy with all sorts of grease and food residue and whatnot from years of use and no cleaning. And it's running out of storage space, so I just moved it to the temporary storage area and didn't give a whole lot of thought to it. So time is going by, and it's sitting there, and everything seems to be copacetic. This was towards the fall, I think. Winter comes along, and I noticed that sometimes when I would go to that area, the storage area, that it was very damp. And of course, it's dark in the units, so you have damp and dark, which invites mold. And it was kind of concerning to me, because it was really disgusting at some points, but then the weather kind of calmed down. It became cooler out again, and it was a non-issue. And then this year I went over there again and noticed it. It seemed like it was getting worse, and it's a little bit agitating because, you know, it's supposed to be climate controlled, and you pay extra for that. In my mind, climate control means temperature and humidity, and it didn't seem like there was much in the realm of humidity. There was 2 levels to the thing. The upper floor seems perfectly dry, but the lower floor is just wet. So I went over there today to retrieve some items, and I'm looking at the bottom of the shelf where the microwave was. I said, geez, that looks kind of funny. And the flipping thing is covered in mold. And it wasn't like that a couple weeks ago, you know, or a couple months ago, whatever. It wasn't like that up until very recently. So, what a mess. So this is what we're working with here. It's full of flipping mold. Look at that. That's awful. And that's all because of moisture. Now, I'm not an avid air conditioning user. In fact, I kind of enjoy a warm climate. But having a lot of moisture in the air, it just invites a lot of problems like this. So we got to get this cleaned down enough that I can bring it back into the house. Because eventually this thing is going to go in the kitchen. That light's operating kind of funny. But it can't go in the house like this. This is awful. I can't believe that this transpired. Should have got that box of rags instead of this. So the ticker towels. I really don't like touching mold. You know, what's really kind of flaky about this, okay, is that I happened to notice it, I think, within a pretty reasonable time frame of when it started. But had I not been going over there to fetch things, and everything was sitting idle over there, this could have spread all over the place. Could have spread to different items I had in there. Could have spread to different areas. You know, who knows? That's one of the reasons why I don't like those units, because you don't know what people around you are doing and what they're putting in there. And I guess you kind of just got to hope that there's a decency, but I mean, even a case like this would have been a mistake. You know, I would never intentionally put something in there that I thought could do any damage. Fortunately, it was caught in time and it didn't even affect the box above it, you know, on the same shelf. So we're good, but it really had the potential to be a freak show. It's still a freak show because now I got to clean this up. But it's not as bad as it could have been. That is for sure. It's not as bad as it could have been. Really need to be using some kind of a degreasing agent on here to get this really to come clean, because the mold is only the surface issue. The major issue that lies beneath is the grease. That's what the mold is growing on. No, it's not growing on the metal, it's growing on the mold. I mean, it's growing on the oil and the grease buildup that's on here. So anyways, I'm gonna have to just clean this up here. It's gonna take some time. I don't like cleaning things with ticker towels like this because it's a waste of materials, but without tearing the whole thing apart, which I don't think is a viable option right now. What are we at? Yeah, 11:46 at night. No, we're not tearing nothing down. The only thing we should be tearing apart is the bed to go to sleep in it. But instead, here we are cleaning mold. Mold freak show. That's what this is. This is a mold freak show. Oh man, I can't believe this. This is awful. And this isn't really cutting through it. I wanted that other cleaner. I can't find it. There's other cleaners I'd rather be using for this, but I cannot find them. I moved enough stuff over from the old location to function, but I don't have any of my good cleaners or anything like that yet, so. I know my grandfather was using a different cleaner the other day over here on the windows or something. And it probably was stronger than this, but even that I can't find it. This just isn't really cutting through the grease that well. Which it's not intended to, so I can't really complain. I mean, it's not a degreasing agent, it's just a multi-surface cleaner. Hopefully it kills mold, I don't know. Kills germs. Is mold a germ? I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really like mold. I hate mold. It's disgusting. And it ruins equipment. This is very good mold growing weather. It's got to be at least 80% moisture outside, and it's very warm still. Very, very warm. I'm not one to run air conditioners around the clock, but the one in here has been going for probably 3 days straight. Now, oddly enough, inside the unit is not so bad. Mostly it was just on the outside. Yeah, I mean, it's rough in there. It is rough. But it's mostly, it's not so much mold in there as it is just the grease, you know. I mean, there's some mold here at the bottom, but it's mostly just the grease. Maybe tomorrow I'll stop at the store and get some kind of a good degreaser, because this is just not going to cut it. We're certainly not aiming for perfection here. I just want to make it mold free enough to exist in the house, that's all. And that's going to entail taking most of this grease off of here, at least on the outside. You know, the seal I think is pretty decent on these. Not too worried if there's some mold on the inside, but definitely don't want any on the outside. think it's going to be very difficult to get this off of the handle. It's kind of a rubbery material, so we may be starting to lose some of the handle itself and not just the junk that's on there. And that's a whole other issue. Yeah, I think we're probably starting to lose some of the handle. Well, maybe not. I'm pretty sure all these controls should be generally waterproof, because I believe the intention was that you would be able to just wipe them off, you know, when you're cleaning up the kitchen. And if they're not waterproof, well, won't be plugging this in anytime soon, so we should have plenty of time to dry out before I plug it back in. Alright, I think that's gonna suffice for now. It's still absolutely disgusting, but that's not surprising. We weren't going for perfection here, we were just going for mold removal. You know, this is now clean enough that I wouldn't mind this sitting in the garage for a couple of days until I get until I get some degreaser cleaners and really go at this better. Ugh, it's so super sticky and gross to move. But at least there's not as much mold on it anymore. I'll just put it over here for now, because over here is already kind of gross anyways. So I'll just put it over here. And I get to it when I get to it. I forgot how cool this thing looked. I love wood grain appliances. This is absolutely going in the kitchen once I get it presentable enough to do so. I had to put the thing in trash bags to get it home because I didn't want to put it in the car like that. While we're here, what else can we get rid of? Bent nails. That screw is okay. Another bent nail. A lot of these nails are bent. This screw is bent. This screw is bent. Bent. Okay. The bent. Bent. Bent, bent. Something looks weird about that. No, I guess it's okay. That's definitely not gonna work. What in the world? Now that's cool, these are all just ending up on the floor half the time. Those all look okay for the most part. Okay. I guess that's everything that we need to get rid of. Okay. I think that's everything now. Oh no, it's not. I have all this junk too. I forgot about this. I don't need any of this stuff either. Let's grab the big pieces and the rest I'll clean up with the vacuum. Alright, this should be good. Alright, that takes care of our mold freak show for tonight. There's a bunch of junk out here that we can get rid of too. Actually, really, all this should go. It's not serving any purpose here. Some kind of bulb on there. What is that? I'm not sure, but we don't need it. Okay. Yeah, there were some pieces over here that needed to get discarded too. These are not sticks, these are all like wood splinters from the deck repair. Some of these are pretty sizable. Well, I'll clean that up another day. Okay, that's the end of that fiasco. We'll close this for the night. Oh, that's cool. This place is literally falling apart. I can't make this stuff up. Alright, that's a wrap for me tonight. It's tired and I'm late, and this video is over.